Hi, and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. Now remember, I told you I was going to come back and I was going to show you how to fix that hole right there. Alright, we had to do a little bit of back wall work down here. We had to change the tile on the back. Now we're ready to repair this hole up here. Alright, so this is the patch we're going to do up here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to come in here, we're going to square that off right there. So we're going to take a small utility knife and we're going to cut it along there so that this hole is pretty much square. Up here is a little bit bigger, but we'll have to see how that goes when we get in there to cut it. Alright, so let me grab my utility knife and let's square this off and we'll continue with that. Just remember, if you could square it off, it's easier to square it off than it is to try to notch out the back of the patch that we're going to put on there. Alright, so let's go in the garage, let's cut that patch out, and then we'll come back and we'll see how it fits. So next we go into the garage and we measure off. We had 3 by 3.5 inch, so we're going to take it and we're going to put a line on it. Now we're going to take our straight razor and we're going to use a straight edge. In this case I'm using a trowel. We're going to use that as a straight edge. You can use a ruler or whatever you have. And we're just going to cut through the part of the paper that is going to be showing, not the part that's inside. There we want to have it, we don't want to cut that side. We want to cut on the part that's facing out to the living area. All right, we'll cut it all the way through. And once we cut it through, we take the piece of drywall, turn it over, and now we can make sure we cut through all the brown paper on the back, which is the back of the paper, of course. We're going to use our straight edge to make sure we get a nice clean cut across it, just like that. And now we'll take the drywall and we'll just twist a little bit and snap it off. Use our utility knife to go in the back of it, cut a straight line, and we now have our patch that we're going to use to patch up that hole in the wall. Now remember, it's 3.5 by 3. So we're going to mark it off on the inside here. Okay, so next we go in the back of it and we mark the size of the patch that we need. Remember, it was 3 by 3.5. So we're going to mark it here, 3 and 3. Okay. Do the exact same thing right here. Just like that. Right, you want to have about 1 inch overlapping on the side here, and then we're going to cut it along that line. Now remember, it was 3 by 3.5, but we made it so it was actually 5.5. So that leaves us 1 inch on either side here too. So we're going to go 1 inch, and we're going to go 1 inch, and then we're going to measure from that 1 inch mark. I'm going to go 3.5 inches, which is approximately right there. And right there. Okay, next we take our trowel, put it on here, just like that, so we can get a pretty straight line, and we cut the back of the paper, right, the back of the paper. And we're going to cut it all the way through, just like that. Okay. Do the exact same thing on this mark here. Remember, you're cutting this on the back of the paper. Alright, same thing here. All the way to the edge. Okay. Next we'll take these marks right here and we're going to cut it straight across to the very edge here as well. You don't want to cut through to the other side of the paper here though. All right, you're only scoring the back of it about halfway through. Okay? Now next we just do this. Snap off all the pieces like this. Okay? And now we take off just the back. We leave the paper on the other side, just like that. Okay? Okay. Next, anything that you have left like this on there, you want to get that off too. Because we don't want this interfering with the joint that we're going to put up on there. Make sure that when you get all this stuff off, that you don't damage the paper on the other side. Okay? Okay? Okay, so that's our patch. Remember, we needed 3 by 3.5. 3, 3, and approximately 3.5. Okay? Now let's go inside and we're going to see how that actually fits in the opening inside. So let's go back inside and finish it off. Okay, so we cut out our patch. Let's see how it fits inside here. Okay, we're just going to notch it out, this little piece right up on here. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to just take our utility knife and we're going to cut a little bit off the back so it fits better. So let's do that. Okay, after you cut it, just snap it. And you peel off the piece in the back. And we have that little piece cut out there that will fit over the top of this. So let's see how that fits. Okay. There we go, it actually fits really well inside here. So the next thing we'll do is let's take this back out. Be careful, we don't want to separate the paper from the back of it there. Let's grab some spackle, let's spackle this up right here a little bit, and then we'll put this patch in there. Now the spackle I'm using is just a regular all-purpose joint compound. It's really not a big deal. So we're just going to take a little bit. Okay. Now what you want to do is when you put the joint compound inside here, you want to put a little bit on the sides right here as well, because it acts just like glue, and it'll glue the patch to the existing drywall. So let's do that a little bit like this. We're just going to put it on just like that, all the way around here. Okay. Same thing over here. Okay. Now we're going to grab our patch that we made, and we're going to put some compound right on here, just like this. As I said, it's going to be glue that actually holds everything together. Okay. Just like that. Okay. All the way around. There's going to be a little extra. It's going to squeeze out, but we don't have to worry about that. We'll clean that up in just a minute. Okay, just like this. Okay. Now let's take our patch and fit it in here. Okay. Okay, now we come in here with our utility knife or spackling knife, and we just do this. And just push it all out. And that's it, our patch is on. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put some drywall compound along here so that this patch blends in with the rest of the wall. Now, if you were finishing this wall and you were going to paint it, you'd have to do a couple of coats, probably 2, maybe 3 coats of spackle on here. But in this particular case, we're going to be mounting a microwave up here, so we don't really care that this is perfect up here. All right, so we're just going to make it so that it's fairly decent, and it will be finished. Okay, just like that. Okay, so that's it. We can see that this is actually pretty good right here. Remember, the more you smooth it out right now, the less sanding you're going to have to do in the future. So this one here is finished. We may put one more coat on it. Depends on what it looks like when it dries up. It'll probably be okay, but we'll see how it is. Most of the time, something like this will take you at least a day to dry out, so you can actually sand it, and then you can put your second coat on here. It's just amazing to me how some contractors will go and punch a hole in the wall and then not even fix it. I mean, obviously a cabinet was covering it up at one point, but you have a hole in the wall. You don't want to leave a hole in the wall. Put a patch on it, and if it's not going to be visible, that would be more than adequate. I'm going to show you something else that some contractor did. Down inside here, we had a countertop and a cabinet that we removed. They had a hole in the wall. It was probably about that big, where they tried to put an electrical box in, and they hit a stud, so they moved it over. Anyhow, they made a big hole inside the wall. So I had to wind up repairing it so that we could actually put the box in the wall and secure it in there correctly versus leaving it hanging or just dangling. But I'm going to bring it out and show you what it looks like. Let me show you real quick before we go any further here. This is what they did here. This electrical box here was actually in here, but there was a hole right up inside this area right here that the box wasn't even attached to. It was screwed in down the bottom, but it was just dangling on the top because there was nothing there. So we did the exact same thing that we did up here to put our patch up there. We did the exact same thing down there. So now once we put our cover over the top of it, it'll be a nice finished job. Okay, now I do want to point one more thing out to you. The wall sometimes can be a 3/8 piece of sheetrock, or it could be a 1/2 inch, or it could be 5/8. When you do this kind of a patch, it doesn't matter what thickness sheetrock you have, because when you put it on there, the sheetrock itself pushes inside to the hole. The paper comes even with the outside of it, and once you finish it, you'll never even know it was there. All right, this job is done, and we're on to the next one. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.